So what's the number one way to tell if something's wrong with your snake?
These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice. These brothers my guys, know that they fly, know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side, CJ Ike, now I gotta roll with ice.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and thank you so much for tuning in to see just why you should be weighing your snakes. I think that's a statement and a question all in one, because I don't think a lot of people actually do it. If you got one snake, it's easy to do, but when you have a collection, then I can actually see how you could get away from doing so. But in doing that, whether you have one or you have many, you're actually sacrificing the health of your animal if you don't use a scale to weigh. Much like when you go to the doctor's office, the first thing they do before you do anything is they take your weight, and that's the number one predictor of a lot of things, right? So they can use that just like you can for your animals, your weight over time to determine your overall health, and then of course we can verbalize our thoughts and our feelings and the things that we're going through emotionally, so we can say, when I gain this weight, this is how I feel. When I lose this weight, this is how I feel. But snakes can't. A lot of the times the first thing your snake will do is they'll go off a feed. But to cut off everything, it just takes one of these little scales. Like these both came from Amazon. This is a kitchen scale which we no longer use. I'm pretty sure we'll use it for something in the future. Maybe we'll use it to start weighing our rats out so that we can actually take accurate measurements of the rats and see how that, can predict how big our animals will get if we stay with that size or as we move up. But I would highly recommend this baby scale. And you can just see the difference in the two, right? So this one's very small, so you can only weigh so many things. We have to put a container on this. Whereas this one, you can actually put the animal on here. They both have functions of zeroing, and you can use pounds or grams, whichever one is more convenient for you or more that you're more familiar with, you can use. But either way, whatever you use, I would highly recommend using a scale. The scale lets me know if I'm feeding the appropriate size prey items for that animal as it grows. And of course, you got something to chart with body weight all the time. And then what we do is we write what we're feeding. So rat pup, wean rat, jumbo mouse, small rat, in some cases medium rat, or if it's a hopper or if it's a fuzzy. That way you can actually see how much of the food is being digested and translating into growth for that animal. Another thing that you can tell with by weighing your snakes is basically their health. So you know how a snake's active body should look, right? So it shouldn't look overly fat. It shouldn't look emaciated, right? The head to body ratio should be proportional, just as they were when they were born, right? That should never change. You shouldn't have a snake that is very, very emaciated to where you can see the spine and the ribs, nor should you have a animal that is just so plump that you see excess fat tissue on top of the ribs, so it looks like it's actually caving in on the spine. So you'll see the spine running down, and then it might actually be over the top. So that's just one of the things you can do. But more importantly, if you're trying to breed your animals, which a lot of people are trying to breed their animals, even if they just do it once, you can use the scale to determine whether your animals are at the appropriate weight. So for me, a male could actually go, in truthfulness, a male could probably go at about 500 or 600 grams. I've known people who've done that, but I feel comfortable with the male that's over 800, 900 grams, because if or when they go off a feed, then I don't want them to go from that adult size down through the subadult and a juvenile size for a male and end up around 300 grams because they've went off food and they're trying to exert all this energy, because they do exert a lot of energy. There's an energy cost to producing sperm for that male. And then likewise with that female, if you're trying to breed that female, you can use this same scale to determine at what stage she's at. If you're lucky enough to not have her go off of feed, if you're lucky enough to not have her go off of feeding, then you'll get there a lot sooner with her. I would say the 2-year time frame for the females, just to make sure that those eggs that are developing as from follicles in our ovaries are going to be mature, right? You don't want immature eggs getting developed, because then it won't turn out well. The animals might have deformities. They might be overly small. I mean, there's just a myriad of things that could actually happen, but the scale actually helps you to determine whether that's going good for them or not. And this is a debate that's out there. So at the 2-year time frame or 1.5 years, but I like to say 2 years just to be sure that my females are mature enough to actually pull through with the pregnancy. Now, their body shape and condition is another thing, but the scale helps you see that too. Not only will you have your eyes so you can see if the animals are actually small or if they have that girth that will allow them to carry forward that pregnancy for that and go through ovulation and then the full term and lay the eggs, right? So one of the things that you can look for is when your animals are around 1,200 grams, you can actually start pairing them up at that point, as long as they're still eating strong and being strong. Because at the end of that, by the time they lay their eggs, they will be about 1,500 to 1,600 grams guaranteed if they carry the average amount of ball python eggs, which is around 6 to 8. You know, each one of those babies has some gram weights to them. So you should get at least, you know, from that point, at least 300 grams to 400 grams in extra body weight just from that and the feeding and all the other things. And then you still mate them until they go off of food. So that's one thing that you can really use a scale for, is when it, you know, just basic husbandry, you know. So the things that I talked about were using this scale, the small kitchen scale, or going just maybe $10 more, $15 more and getting this baby scale from Amazon. And you can use it to measure health, you know, so if your animals are gaining weight correctly, or when you're getting ready to breed them, you know, what size are they? How much do they weigh? As well as if they go off a feed, how far are they going down before you actually have to physically intervene or go and seek veterinarian experience. So if nothing else, guys, I just wanted to put this short video out because I'm trying with this channel to touch every little aspect of ball python care or snake care that I can think of for this species, at least with ball pythons. And hopefully if it doesn't help you, it might help someone. And that's all that I'm looking to do, is just help somebody, because information is everywhere, and at least you can use this as one proof source so you can try to find another proof source before you actually move forward. But with this one, it's so, you know, easy to do, and that I think that you could actually do it. So it's non-invasive. Please like, share, and subscribe this video if you like the content. And if nothing else, guys, enjoy the time you spend with your reptiles, and then, you know, really cherish that time that you have with your families. Thank you.